A century ago, a mysterious rift tore open in the skies above Earth, unleashing swarms of dimensional beasts that ravaged the planet and drove humanity to the edge of extinction. Only those blessed with awakened talents could stand against them. Among the survivors is Ye Tian, an orphan living with his younger sister, the only family he has left. Unfortunately, Ye Tian possesses one of the weakest talents imaginable, leaving him plagued by doubt about whether he can protect the person he cares for most. But everything changes the day he gets zapped by this creepy energy in his dreams, and upon waking up, he finds a strange notification before his eyes, an otherworldly system prompt granting him the ability to copy his sister's talent. From that moment on, Ye Tian holds the power to rewrite his destiny, for his new gift allows him to copy any talent he desires. Meanwhile, that pigtailed cutie proudly shows off the dish she made for him, braised pork, his favorite. Grateful for the meal and the warmth of home, Ye Tian can't help but smile. The power of talent copying is miraculous, but there's no way he's going to test it on his little sister. Still, he notices her base talent is way better than his own weak tier one. Ye Yu's frost talent is extremely rare, and once it awakens, he's sure she'll absolutely dominate her opponents. He silently hopes their parents can rest easy now. Later, Ye Tian throws on a hoodie and heads out for a walk, ready to test his new ability. Activating his talent sensor, he finds the range is only about 3 meters for now. In a crowd full of low-tier talents, that tiny radius feels frustrating. He's hoping to spot at least a mid-tier talent, but all he's picking up are unimpressive ones. Still, he's also considering checking out the academy soon. Even if he awakened with a low-tier talent, this copying ability might completely change the game for him. One thing's for sure, Ye Tian is set on joining an academy that doesn't judge students based on talent evaluations. That thought sparks an idea, and he decides to apply to Linhai Best 5th Academy. As he walks toward the campus, he sees plenty of students with mid-tier talents passing by, all belonging to this very academy. But Ye Tian doesn't feel discouraged. Deep down, he's confident that his copy talent will take him to heights they haven't even dreamed of achieving. He knows he's going to get stronger, way stronger, in the days to come. 10 days later, at Linhai Base 5th Academy, inside Martial Stadium No. 3, an instructor is giving a lecture on the path to becoming a martial warrior. He explains that the journey begins by first becoming a martial apprentice, laying the foundation for everything that comes next. But becoming a martial apprentice only begins by first learning the body training technique. From this point on, the instructor is ready to teach them that very technique. He tells the group that the key lies in forming an air vortex right in front of their chest, a sign that they've successfully grasped the basics of body training. Everyone gets into their poses, trying their best to follow his lead. Most of the students either faint, limp, or collapse in frustration, struggling to even activate their energy. But Ye Tian doesn't even flinch. One of the students suddenly shouts in panic that someone's passed out, but the instructor doesn't even blink. He sternly tells them to ignore the weak ones. There's no room for losers here. The only thing he demands from them is to create an air vortex, because without that, there's zero chance of becoming a martial warrior. Meanwhile, Ye Tian is quietly battling his own crisis. He's doing everything right, but nothing's happening. Not even a breeze. Frustration builds inside him as he curses his low-tier talent, blaming it for his failure to produce even a puff of air. Just as the instructor's patience wears thin, he snaps and calls this class the worst he's ever taught. Everyone's collapsed on the ground, everyone except Ye Tian, who's still standing, even if barely. The instructor scoffs and says he hopes these losers start following the example of Chen Dong and crank up their motivation instead of acting like a bunch of lazy idiots. Later, Ye Tian turns to Zhang Bao and asks who this Chen Dong guy is. Zhang grins and spills the details. Chen Dong is the real deal, not your average student. It took him only half a month to earn his spot as a martial apprentice, and he was so impressive that even the principal took him in for personal discipline. Ye Tian figures Chen Dong must have a way higher tier talent. Then Zhang proudly shows off Chen Dong's autograph, saying that when Chen Dong hits the top, that signature alone could pay his rent for a few months. Ye Tian is left speechless while Pigface stands there puffing out his chest with pride. Suddenly, a wave of excitement breaks out as every student around starts jumping with joy, thrilled to see Chen Dong walking this way. Now the whole crowd is dying for his autograph, and Zhang bolts ahead at full speed, ready to shove everyone out of the way just to score another one. Meanwhile, Ye Tian is checking out Chen Dong, who's kind of a big deal around here with a solid mid-tier ranking. Chen Dong tells everyone he is there to encourage them on behalf of their teacher, and has no intention of becoming a laughingstock in front of his friends. Ye Tian, playing it smart, insisted on shaking his hand, which made the crowd go wild. Zhang races to snag the first handshake, and the rest of the crowd rushes in behind him until it's finally Ye Tian's turn. The guy's got his own little game running. He reaches out, seals the handshake, and Dong casually wishes him good luck. That's when it clicks for Ye Tian. Later on, he stands in front of the status window that reads, "Mid-tier talent copied," and it's ready to fuse now. Even the talent reaper isn't sure how this fusion is going to turn out. The guy still isn't sure why he was zapped by thunder from the inside out before, but he pushes that thought aside to focus on what's in front of him. He goes ahead and selects the fusion option. The moment he does, a sharp pain shoots through his chest, like someone's shoving his heart straight into a meat grinder. Now, this skill thief's brain feels like it's melting, finally realizing that stealing isn't as easy as it sounds. The guy's down on the floor, barely holding on. After a while, the status window lights up, confirming that his cultivation talent has successfully upgraded to mid-tier. Painful as it was, the Reaper figures it's worth it, trading all that agony for a fresh start and a brand new version of himself. Also, the copy talent cooldown is just 30 days. He figures he can keep copying talents again once the time's up, which works out perfectly for him. Now he shifts gears to try out the body training technique. After getting into position, he gives it another go, and right in front of his eyes, a tiny tornado starts to form. Everything flows so smoothly now that he's rocking a mid-tier talent. With this, he starts to see the bigger picture, and becoming an elite martial warrior doesn't seem so far-fetched anymore. In fact, reaching the level of a great martial warrior actually feels possible. A month later, under the light of the moon, a vicious wolf is leaping from rooftop to rooftop. At the same time, a father and daughter are out making dinner plans. Meanwhile, Ye Tian is now a martial apprentice with a long road ahead before he can call himself a true martial warrior. With Chen Dong getting personal training from the principal, Ye Tian figures that guy must be leveling up way faster than he is. In the blink of an eye, the lantern the father is carrying crashes to the ground as the savage wolf pounces on him and kills him instantly. The little girl's cry cuts straight through the silence, and Ye Tian freezes, his face turning pale at the brutal sight. All of a sudden, panic erupts as everyone realizes there's a monster in their midst. Shouts fill the air, people screaming for everyone to run, their voices shaking with fear after witnessing it kill someone. It's Ye Tian's first time seeing a monster up close. Just as the creature closes in on the little girl, Ye Tian musters the courage to pull her out of the way, the wolf hot on their heels. Terror grips him as he realizes the beast is too fast, giving them barely any time to escape. Right then, a heroic figure bursts onto the scene, slamming into the wolf from behind and cracking the road beneath them. The silver moon wolf spins around, snarling at the figure who dared to interrupt its hunt. Standing there is none other than the famous Captain Gale Wolf, apologizing for showing up late. He orders Ye Tian to keep the girl safe while he handles the beast. As Ye Tian catches his breath and holds the girl close, Gale Wolf stands tall, ready to put on a show. Just as the hero clashes with the fearsome wolf, Ye Tian quickly covers the little girl's eyes, shielding her from the brutal scene. Gale Wolf, locked in combat, instantly senses the raw power packed into the beast like it's no ordinary monster. Even after tossing it aside like trash, he can tell its speed is nothing to take lightly. But with a smirk, he reminds the overgrown puppy that he's not fighting alone. Right then, 3 of his teammates drop out of the sky like thunder, landing beside him, ready to finish what he started. As Gale Wolf makes his move, his teammates charge in to back him up, striking the beast deep with their blades. For a moment, they wonder if the pup's finally down for good. But then, the monster lets out a bone-chilling scream, a red aura oozing from its body like steam off boiling blood. One look and the guy knows what's coming. It's entering bloodburst mode. He warns the others to stay sharp because things are about to get a whole lot worse. One of his lackeys rushes over to check on the captain, who's holding up just fine for now. But then, they all spot Wolfie trying to make a break for it, slipping into the shadows. Gale Wolf narrows his eyes, already on the move. There's no way he's letting this pup walk out of here alive. Out of the blue, a surge of purple mana floods the air as a girl drops in right on time, her bow already drawn. Gale Wolf flashes a grin. He'd been waiting for this pretty archer to show up. Then, she loses her arrow, and it whistles through the air, landing clean in the Silver Moon Wolf's neck. Just like that, the beast collapses to the ground, dead on the spot. Gale Wolf laughs out loud, saying the beast is still way too weak to pick a fight with their squad. Another teammate throws a nod of praise to the girl, calling her sniping skills top tier. Meanwhile, Ye Tian quietly checks the monster's status. The status window reveals the Silver Moon Wolf's traits, low-tier blood talent, and novice-tier speed talent. Nothing too impressive on paper, but in the hands of a creature like this, still dangerous enough to throw unprepared fighters into chaos. Even the little girl is left wide-eyed, her jaw dropping at the brutal sight of the wolf's supposed death. But just as things start to settle, Ye Tian catches a subtle movement. One of the wolf's paws is twitching. Something's not right. While the lackeys are cooling off, celebrating in their little victory bubble, and grumbling about how speed-type monsters are always a pain to deal with, they're already making drink plans like it's all over. That's when Gale Wolf's instincts kick in. He senses it. Something's off. Without wasting a second, he calls out to everyone that the monster's still alive. In a burst of rage, the Silver Moon Wolf rises to its feet, howling with fury. Its eyes burn with pure hatred, refusing to go down easily. Monsters like this don't understand defeat. They're terrifying in their tenacity, fighting until the last breath. Gale Wolf's team stands ready, waiting for orders, but the captain steps forward. He tells them to stand down. This weak puppy is his to finish. Right then, the big guy turns to Ye Tian and warns him to clear out, saying the area is still dangerous. But Ye Tian's too spaced out to react. Gale Wolf shouts at him to get the heck out, but the Talent Reaper sees this as the perfect chance to give his power a real test drive. Without hesitation, he marches straight toward the beast, ignoring every warning. He slams his fist into the Silver Moon Wolf, and in the next second, the status window pops up, saying Talent Copied. Ye Tian leaps back, only to land right on the wolf's body. The window keeps flashing over and over, repeating the same message. With both hands, this skill thief presses into the monster, sending shockwaves of energy through it, lighting the beast up from the inside. As he keeps copying its talents, Ye Tian starts to enjoy the slaughter, throwing punch after punch into the corpse. Finally, Gale Wolf steps in and snaps him out of it, reminding him that the beast's already long dead. Ye Tian, still gripping the wolf, knows for sure the creature is dead. But what matters most to him is that the talent has been successfully copied. Just then, Gale Wolf steps up and begins assigning cleanup duties to his team. He orders 3 of his subordinates to handle the removal of both the fallen man and the Silver Moon Wolf's corpse, while the archer is tasked with looking after the little girl. As they prepare to leave, Gale Wolf turns to Ye Tian and tells him he hopes to see him again, as a member of his squad, once Ye Tian reaches the rank of martial warrior. The thought fills Ye Tian with excitement, already looking forward to the day he's strong enough to earn that spot. Later, when he gets home, the first thing he does is wash the blood off his face, careful not to let his sister see any signs of what happened. If Ye Yu saw him like that, she'd probably worry herself sick. After cleaning up, he steps out of the bathroom and walks through the quiet house, only to find Ye Yu fast asleep on her bed, snoring softly like a baby. In her sleep, she mumbles, "Big bro," and it brings a quiet smile to his face. Then, stepping outside into the calm night, Ye Tian finally lets the weight of the day settle in. It hits him that this is the first day he has ever faced a real monster. Not to mention, the beast wasn't just a little stronger, it was 100 times more powerful and terrifying than the monsters from the stories he grew up hearing. As he gently tucks Ye Yu in, making sure she's warm and safe, a quiet resolve builds inside him. He knows he has to reach the status of martial warrior soon, because one day, he might be the only one standing between his sister and a nightmare like that. Now, his mind starts spinning with a wild thought, wondering if it's possible to merge monster talents into a human body. On the bed, he stares at the status window hovering in front of him, eyes locked on the details of the monster's talents. He knows deep down this fusion could be life-threatening, maybe even more painful than the last one. But the need to grow stronger burns brighter than any fear. If it means protecting the ones he holds dear, especially his sister, then he's ready to face whatever it takes, no matter how brutal the path gets. For the speed talent, Ye Tian braces himself. He shoves a cloth into his mouth, ready to bite down and endure whatever pain comes with it. As soon as he initiates the fusion process, the agony hits like a storm. It floods through his body, sharp and relentless, each wave feeling like his muscles and bones are being torn apart piece by piece. He grits his teeth, holding on, as if his very being is on the verge of shattering. In the middle of this brutal fusion process, a sharp crack echoes through the room, and his leg fractures instantly. The pain shoots up like fire. He stares at his leg, panic creeping in. He questions whether the talent copying failed. Doubt hits him hard, and for a second, he wonders if pushing his limits was a mistake after all. His head spins and his body feels like it's slipping away. This skill thief knows he's done for. The thought of calling out to Ye Yu crosses his mind, but before he can even speak, the darkness swallows him whole. The next morning he wakes with a jolt, heart pounding, still shaken to the core. The first thing he does is check his leg and sees no fractures or bruises. Everything looks perfectly fine. He has no idea what happened during the night, but whatever it was, it gave him a serious upgrade. His body feels lighter. He quickly pulls up the status window. It confirms everything. Ye Tian, holding a mid-tier cultivation talent, now also has a novice-tier speed talent. The talent copying was a success. Later, in a grove at the 5th Academy, Ye Tian is all smiles, bounding through the forest like Tarzan, jumping off trees and landing with ease. He's bursting with energy, feeling like a brand new version of himself. As he tests out his new talent, a single leaf drifts down through the air, and with perfect timing, Ye Tian catches it without even trying. No doubt the swiftness of a Silver Moon Wolf is just awesome. After that, Ye Tian gets into a position to practice the body training technique. He figures his speed now might be on par with that of a martial warrior, but his overall strength is still seriously lacking. It would be great if he could find a way to boost his cultivation speed. Out of nowhere, Zhang calls out to him, spotting Ye Tian training in the grove. He walks over, pats this talent reaper on the shoulder, and immediately notices the difference. Ye Tian feels solid now, like a pretty sturdy guy. Zhang bets he's already broken through the martial apprentice stage. Then he gets bold and asks if Ye Tian's looking for a way to get even stronger, suggesting he try drinking monster blood. This weirdo casually admits that he started improving way faster than before after doing it himself. At first, Ye Tian doesn't believe a word of it, but now he's genuinely shocked to hear that monster blood actually holds